Hi, I'm Rick Keeler. Thanks for joining me. Well, what matters most when you're choosing the stores or service providers that you want to do business with? Ask several people that question, and you'll get a variety of answers. One common factor, though, will probably be I'm looking for good customer service. Well, it seems to make no sense then that I have recently switched from an airline that provided excellent customer service to one that doesn't. I travel frequently on business, almost always by air. I also live in Rapid City, South Dakota, which is not exactly a major transportation hub. So many of my airline choices are pretty limited. For years, I've flown Delta, and before that it was Northwest. I've found, for the most part, that their representatives are friendly and pretty accommodating to frequent flyers like myself. They offer a lot of services to me as a frequent flyer that makes travel a little bit easier. Two of these perks are early boarding and a dedicated phone line for frequent flyers. The early boarding makes life easier for people like me who carry on their luggage, especially with a business traveler not wanting to check luggage. And my experience with checking luggage isn't good. And then if a flight is canceled or delayed, which they often are, the quick access through the dedicated phone line can really make the difference between going on a different plane today and not finding an open seat until tomorrow. The downside with Delta has been slightly higher prices and more challenging schedules than United, the other major airline serving Rapid City. I recently took a trip to Buenos Aires with my wife, and the charges on United were $900 a seat less than on Delta. That's a lot of money. I was also looking at planning my travel for the next year, and so I did a direct comparison between Delta and United. And the research that I did showed I could save about 10% on travel costs by switching to United. And even more important, their superior scheduling for the Rapid City market would allow me to spend more time in the office and with my family. The decision really should have been a no-brainer. Lower prices, better schedules. Yet it was painfully hard. As I interacted with a number of employees from both airlines, those from Delta were constantly pleasant and helpful, but those from United were almost uniformly rude and unaccommodating. I found myself wondering if this is how they treated prospective customers. How do they treat customers that they already have? After really a pretty tough period of time of deliberating, I decided to switch with a lot of reluctance and sadness. It just felt wrong to reward the company with the worst customer service. Yet what finally drove my decision was the realization that customer service has two essential components. One is giving customers what they want. This includes courtesy, friendliness, respect, and acknowledgement. The other is giving customers what they need. And this is usually it boils down to providing the product or the service that best meets their requirements at the best price. Because United's lower prices and better schedules offered more of what I needed, I very reluctantly decided to give up the better service that I wanted. The best companies, of course, offer both. Ideally, those are companies we are able to give our business to. But as potential customers, it's important to pay attention to both these aspects of customer service. Sometimes good service matters most, even if it costs more. This is one reason some locally owned businesses can compete successfully against retail giants. Sometimes price or convenience is the deciding factor. You may be perfectly happy getting your prescriptions from an impersonal chain store if it saves you a couple of $100 a month and is located on a street that's really convenient for your travel. Once in a while, the warmth that appears to be good service is even a mask hiding incompetence or even fraud. Con artists, after all, are some of the superficially friendliest people that you'll ever want to meet. I'll bet Bernie Madoff was a great guy to chat with. So am I suggesting courtesy and customer service don't matter? Absolutely not. If we receive bad service, it's really our duty to speak up. Believe me, I have spoken up to United. And whenever possible, we should give our business to companies who value us enough to treat us well. But sometimes we can't get everything we want. Sometimes the best decision is to settle for getting what we need. Thanks for listening.